Good morning. How are
Go, team. A right past the delivery act. That's what we want. What up, Dave? Got a couple of the Amazon ones in here, too. Raul. Mr. Radke.
I like the tie.
Thank you.
Where's my Amazon
Sure,
workers?
why not?
I want the Amazon workers to hold the Delivery Protection Act one. Here you go, Bobby. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, you got a huge one. Give it to my man Clay. Clay's under the Yeah, let's get squeeze up in there. What else? Who needs a sign? Would you like a sign?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and I know Theo's always looking out for the fair pay and safe jobs for Amazon workers. You know it. You know it.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else? Fair job, safe job for Amazon workers. Hey, you definitely get a sign.
Yo, Latrice,
You want a sign?
do you guys want to scooch a little bit that way? Or no, you guys are just good.
He said you
Good
can't
on
hold
this
the
end.
sign.
Just have like
Let me see if I can picture one of these up for us. Yeah. Well, let's go this way with this one, and then I'm gonna give you this one.
He's our director.
You want delivery protection, or you pick first? You want black. All right. What else? Everybody else? You good, Mitch? You want one, Maddie? Yeah.
I am the delivery protection.
My hands are cold.
Anybody else?
I got my Amazon.
Antonia.
All right. Got one back here.
Antonia.
Yes. What tú quieres, mami? Delivery protection on Amazon. Whichever one you want. Got to do that. Ira, come here.
Yo, Jeff. Yo, if you guys have the Amazon vest on, come in the front.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole bit. It's just to have the report, really. So
Excellent. It's really, really good.
it is good. The team did a good job on it. So
Jeffrey. You guys a vest on, bro? Come on out here.
Everybody else Gucci?
You got the star of the show right here. Bring back Jeff.
How y'all feeling?
all right.
Yeah, I don't feel it. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. How y'all feeling?
Hey!
Who are we?
Team
Who
Stars!
are we?
Team Stars!
Who are we?
Team Stars!
That's right, we are. Let's go.
All
Get
right.
Who's ready to pass the Delivery Protection Act?
Hey!
That's right. When are you guys going to
We ready? Can we start? Yeah, we're good. All right, good morning. All right, who thinks it's a great day out here to win safe jobs, fair pay, more environmentally friendly neighborhoods, and pass the Delivery Protection Act? All right. Good morning. I'm New York City Controller Brad Lander, and I am proud to be out here today to announce the release of a new report from my office, Fast Shipping, Slow Justice, Traffic Worker and Climate Hazards of Last Mile Delivery. This report, which is the first of its kind, uses data from the Department of City Planning to take a look at the rampant growth of last mile facilities throughout New York City with a specific lens on the traffic crashes and lack of safety, on the climate impacts, and especially on the labor impacts for workers. I want to start by acknowledging the workers in my office who worked so hard to put this together. Give it up for Sindhu Bharadwaj, our Senior Policy Analyst for Transportation and Infrastructure, for Matan Diner, the Research and Policy Analyst for Workers' Rights, Annie Levers, our Deputy Controller for Policy, Dan Levine, Senior Data Analyst and Products Manager, and Rebecca Lynch, Deputy Director of Workers' Rights, who you'll hear from shortly. They also work together with some external partners. As I mentioned, this report for the first time uses data from the Department of City Planning to identify last mile facilities, which is not as easy as you might think, and the work to regulate them begins and is grounded in data. And we also work closely with the Strategic Organizing Center, who assisted with compiling the OSHA data on injury reporting so we could match where these last mile facilities are with the injuries and the harm that they are causing. So, as everybody knows, e-commerce has grown dramatically in recent years to the point where there are now around 2.5 million packages delivered every day in New York City. And so we've seen this rampant expansion of last mile facilities, warehouses where packages are sorted and then dispatched directly to their final destination, to people's homes or to businesses in our neighborhoods. Since 2017, 18 new last mile facilities have opened across New York City, 11 of them since 2020. And if you've seen one of these open in your neighborhood, you know what massive facilities they are and what impacts they have, obviously on the folks doing the work inside, but also on the surrounding community and on their neighbors. And so while they generate a lot of economic activity, and there's the opportunity for good jobs and convenience, when we dug in, what we saw is a real significant increase in worker safety hazards, in climate hazards, and in traffic crashes. So here's what the report found. Traffic crashes and injuries have increased dramatically in areas near those last mile facilities. So amongst the new facilities opened since 2017, 78% of nearby areas saw more injury-causing crashes after the last mile facilities opened, with injuries within a half-mile radius of the new facilities rising by an average of 16%. And in addition, truck-related crashes, because what you have in these facilities are trucks coming in and then smaller delivery vehicles, sometimes trucks, sometimes cars, sometimes bike delivery vehicles. Truck-related crashes increased by 146% in the areas near the last mile facilities, and truck injury crashes rose by 137%. Now, that's especially significant because these last mile facilities are concentrated in environmental justice communities, in low-income communities of color that already are places where there's excess asthma rates, where environmental harms and hazards have been predominantly located. 68% of last mile warehouses are located in officially designated environmental justice areas, meaning they have a disproportionate level of pollution while lacking access to environmentally beneficial amenities like parks and open spaces. These facilities are more likely to be located in Red Hook, in East New York, in Maspeth, in Hunts Point, areas with higher concentrations of Black and Latino New Yorkers, higher rates of asthma, higher rates of harm-causing facilities, and lower rates of those environmental benefits that everyone needs and deserves. And then on the inside, there's a worker injury crisis growing in these last mile facilities. Between 2022 and 2024, of the 50 facilities, so there's 50 facilities identified by the Department of City Planning as last mile, for 76% of them, or 38, reported injuries to OSHA. Now, we have some questions about the other 12 because we don't have the data that they reported for OSHA, but just for the 38 that did, it totals over 2,000 injuries, or an average of 678 per year. And the injury rates in these facilities are more than triple the national average. So that the rate of injuries per 100 employees in these last mile facilities is 8.3 versus a national average of just 2.4. So if you're a worker in one of these last mile facilities, you have 3 times the rate of other workers of being injured on the job. And severe injuries are quite common. 85% of reported injuries led to time away from work or reassignment, with a median of 60 days in 2023 and 69 days in 2024. So these, there are certainly the kind of repetitive stress injuries you might think that go along with assembly and packaging, and many of the injuries that we're seeing, 85% of them, are severe enough that they involve significant time off the job. And then that's for work inside the facilities. But then the report also looks at, and I know this is of particular concern to a lot of the folks that are out here, the delivery service partners, or DSPs, Amazon's delivery subcontracting model, to which we say, boo. You can do better than that. To which we say, boo. I thought so. All right, so the Delivery Service Partner Program is a system where Amazon contracts with third-party entities, but Amazon still controls all aspects of operations without the liability for worker safety and protections, and therefore it's no surprise that the report finds that DSPs have a particularly high injury rate. In 2023 and 2024, an injury rate of 9.2 per 100 employees, even higher than the jobs inside. And for those injuries that are more severe and involve time away from the job, a rate of 8.1, exceeding those of the greater last mile and courier industries, and more like 4 times the rate of the average job in the United States. And so that is why we're out here today, to demand and win some change so these jobs won't be dangerous, so they don't harm the communities they're in, and so we're not concentrating dangerous jobs and environmental harms in Black and brown environmental justice communities in New York City, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So this is now the time, as the session in the City Council is winding toward its conclusion. There are still several meetings in which it's possible for the City Council to move on some really critical legislation that can make a difference on these issues. And so you're going to hear about those things today in the report. We call first for the passage of City Council member Tiffany Caban's Delivery Protection Act.
That's right.
You'll hear more about that, Intro 1396, which will require those last mile facility operators as part of a licensing program to directly employ the workers who are engaged in the core services of their business, like transporting and delivering their packages, to give them just cause protections, safety requirements, and protections that workers deserve. And in addition to the benefits for the workers themselves, this requirement will have a positive impact on street safety around last mile deliveries and bring liability for crashes to companies like Amazon, which have avoided it through this subcontracting model designed to take all the profit but push off all the liability. Second, we're calling for passage of Councilmember Alexa Aviles's regulation of indirect sources of air pollution, Intro 1130, which would regulate mobile sources of pollution linked to last mile warehouses through what's called an indirect source rule, which is working in California and other jurisdictions to hold facilities like these last mile facilities accountable for the emissions that they cause. So those are 2 great pieces of legislation. And beyond that, the report calls for preventing the further concentration of warehouses in environmental justice facilities by finalizing the Department of City Planning's last mile facility text amendment for where they can be sited. No reason we have to allow them to be sited wherever people want to put them without any real regulation. So we call for the finalization of that rule. We need the city to scale up its existing freight management programs to improve the efficiency and sustainability of package delivery. The city should focus on expanding successful initiatives like the Commercial Cargo Bike Program, the Smart Curbs Pilot, and the neighborhood loading zones in ways that improve safety, reduce congestion, improve air quality, and work with workers to make sure the jobs are good jobs. And then we also need to make sure that the city establishes a coordinating entity, something like a Department of Sustainable Delivery or an oversight model, that make sure as we pass and implement these laws, there can also be the cross-agency coordination that's needed to make sure zoning reform, enforcement, infrastructure investment, emissions reduction, and freight planning all work together to achieve the goals that all our communities, that all our workers, that all our families deserve. So, how does that sound?
Pretty good.
Luckily, we've got an amazing coalition, and I'm proud to be here today with representatives of a lot of the workers, of the communities, of the environmental justice organizations, of the city council members who are fighting together to win the safer jobs, the better pay, the easier to breathe and the safer to live in communities that everybody deserves. And you are going to get to hear from some of them now. And first, it is my pleasure to call up the lead sponsor of the Delivery Protection Act, somebody who's out here fighting for workers and communities time and time and time again. Please give a big Teamster and partner welcome to New York City Council Member Tiffany Kavan.
All right, we want the Delivery Protection Act, right?
Yeah.
What do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
When do we want it?
Now.
All right. Thank you all for being here. These are the homies. I am Councilmember Tiffany Kavan, and I am the very, very proud sponsor of the Delivery Protection Act. And today, the Comptroller's Office delivered us deeply unsettling information about the risks that last-mile warehouses and delivery operations pose to our city and our neighbors. I'm not going to recap them all, but traffic crashes are up 78% near last-mile warehouses. Injury rates are 3 times higher for workers at last-mile facilities, and injuries for Amazon's delivery service partners are even higher. Is that right?
That's right.
And do we like it?
No. It ain't right, even though it's accurate.
It ain't right.
So let me talk about what we are delivering on the steps of City Hall today. We're delivering dignity to every worker who gets our packages from the warehouse to our doors. We're delivering an unbreakable coalition with the support of a bipartisan supermajority of the council and the backing of our friends in street safety, in labor, and environmental protection. We're delivering safety to every person who sets foot on the streets of New York and deserves to be able to walk, to drive, or bike from point A to point B safely. We are delivering job security and workplace safety to the essential workers who make our city run and provide convenience and accessibility to us all. And we're delivering on the promise of New York as a city where the power lies with the people and the workers, where the safety of our streets and the cleanliness of our air is valued over the profits of billionaires and their big corporations. So we're hoping we can deliver these promises smoothly, without delays, and with the same dedication that last mile workers like the ones behind me here bring to their jobs every single day. So I'm here to say loud and clear that the council must pass the Delivery Protection Act for the safety and the prosperity of our city, and we're not going to stop fighting until we get it. Thank you.
All right.
When our Amazon workers are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
One more time for Councilmember Kavan and the Delivery Protection Act bill. I mentioned a lot of the people in my office who are responsible for this great report. One person who helps lead all of this work that I didn't shout out before, but I do want to shout out now, is our Director of Workers' Rights, Claudia Enriquez. We just tallied up the amount of money that her Bureau of Labor Law has delivered for workers who were cheated out of the prevailing wages they were owed, and over the past 4 years, it's now past $15 million that's back in the pockets of workers rather than in the pockets of companies who tried to steal it from them, like folks who tried to sweat those MTA subcontractors who cleaned our subway cars during COVID, $3 million for them, $15 million for workers overall. Claudia, thank you very much. And I am now going to hand it off to our Deputy Director for Workers' Rights, so I know in this crowd needs no introduction, to MC for the rest of the time. Please give a big Teamster and Allies welcome to Rebecca Lynch.
Let's go.
It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Demos Demopoulos, the Secretary-Treasurer of Teamsters Joint Council 16.
Yeah. Who we? Teamsters. Who we? Teamsters. Teamsters. It's pretty simple. If you report every day to the same workplace, you wear the company's uniform, you drive their truck, and you only make their deliveries, that company is your employer. That company has to take responsibility for your safety, and for the company has to be held responsible when your rights are violated. It's time for New York to hold Amazon responsible. The Teamsters have been fighting this for decades. Whether it is fly-by-night companies or major corporations, many bosses try to squeeze every drop of profit out of their workers without any accountability. I'm proud to stand with these Amazon Teamsters as they fight back. I was proud to walk the picket line with them last December, and I'm proud to stand with them as they bring their fight to City Hall. Thank you to Comptroller Lander for releasing this important report today. There is no longer any question. Amazon has created a safety crisis. That's why the Teamsters are fully committed to passing the Delivery Protection Act. This law will finally force companies like Amazon to take responsibility directly to employ their drivers. It's time for New York to stand up for these workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Demos. I'm now honored to introduce Latrice Shade Johnson from the Last Mile Coalition. Oh, sorry, Latrice.
She's right here.
Oh, hi, welcome. Sorry. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Latrice Johnson. I'm a delivery driver out of Mass Spec Queens ZBK4 warehouse, a loyal, dedicated worker, a mother, and someone Amazon thought they could silence.
They were wrong.
Every day I showed up ready to work, and every day I faced safety issues. Safety issues no worker should ever have to deal with. We start our day with vans that management already knows are unsafe, doors that won't close, setting off alarms that constantly ring. Broken hand trucks we rely on to complete our routes, and overloaded vans packed so tightly that we risk tripping, falling, or even getting hit in the head by a heavy box. It sounds unbelievable, right? But this is our reality. There were days I came home completely drained, physically and mentally, but I still had to show up for my daughter because she depends on me. And while we're dealing with all of this, we're being rushed to meet impossible quotas. We skip breaks, we hold our bathroom needs for hours, and we push our bodies past what's reasonable because Amazon treats us like machines instead of human beings. And then came the layoffs. Over 100 drivers gone with no warning, no explanation, no respect. Families like mine were left scrambling to figure out how to survive in one of the most expensive cities in the country. I had to look my daughter in the face and stay strong while inside I was overwhelmed. Amazon replaced reliable, experienced drivers with brand new, inexperienced workers. And you know what that means? More accidents, more accidents, more stress, more danger for workers, for customers, and for our entire city. So let me be clear. I refuse to tolerate this disrespect. That's why we're standing here today as workers, as a union, and as people who deserve better. We are demanding safer conditions, real accountability, and action from our city council. The Delivery Protection Act is not just about protecting drivers. It's about protecting public safety.
That's right.
When drivers are safe, our families are safe, our roads are safe, our city is safe.
All right.
Let's pass this Delivery Protection Act, y'all. Thank you.
What do we want? Delivery Protection Act. What do we want? Delivery Protection Act. What do we want? Delivery Protection Act. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now.
All right, let's hear it again for Teamsters 804 member and Amazon driver Latrice Shade Johnson. All right, next I'd like to call up Kevin Garcia from the Last Mile Coalition, Senior Transportation Planner for the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance. Woo!
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Garcia. I'm the Senior Transportation Planner with the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance. We are here today as part of the Last Mile Coalition because we understand the harm that these last mile warehouses cause. We're delighted to see this report from the Comptroller's Office that highlights the environmental and worker harm that these big corporations cause. For the past several years, we have seen a surge in last mile warehouses in New York City. Each last mile warehouse brings hundreds or thousands of daily vehicle trips to meet next day and same day delivery demands. And this has led to an increase in traffic, air pollution, crashes, and unsafe working conditions. And this report also shows that about 2/3 of these facilities are in environmental justice communities like Red Hook, South Bronx, Sunset Park, and the Newtown Creek area, which are the same communities that have been disproportionately impacted by other polluting infrastructures such as bus depots, highways, and power plants. For many of these facilities, there's no environmental or public review process, nor do we know how many workers are there. We know that addressing the challenges posed by the rapid rise of e-commerce, particularly the impact of last mile warehouses, is crucial for fostering vibrant neighborhoods, supporting the economic growth of New York City, and creating healthy communities. So we're thankful to see the report and to be here with our labor and environmental allies and calling for the passage of the Delivery Protection Act to safeguard workers and an indirect source rule to address the emissions from these facilities. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome Theo Moore, Executive Director of Align.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right. My name is Theo Moore. I'm the Executive Director of Align. We stand up against corporate greed and fight for safe work, fair wages, and climate justice for all New Yorkers. So basically, Amazon hates to see us coming. We want to thank the Comptroller's Office and everyone who worked specifically on this report and worked to expose Amazon and all of the harms of the e-commerce industry. This is an extremely important report. And the reason why it's important is because sometimes folks need to see on paper what workers and what community members have already been saying. To the workers standing here, nothing in this report is a surprise. To the workers at MassBev, to the workers in Red Hook, to the workers in East New York, to the workers in Hunts Point, there is nothing in this report that is surprising. To the community members in those same neighborhoods, nothing in this report is surprising because they've been saying what's in this report for years. For years. That is extremely important. And this is why we needed these pieces of legislation introduced, because we've been seeing this for years. We've been seeing the harmful conditions in these last mile warehouses. We know of the extreme injuries that are taking place. We know of everything that the workers in these facilities have to go through. We know of the harms that the drivers have to deal with. We know this already. We know of the high rates of asthma in these communities. We know that these facilities are specifically placed in Black and brown communities. Why? Because they think we don't have any power. They think we won't fight back. But we are fighting back. We are fighting back. Woo! We know specifically that Jeff Bezos and Amazon don't care about us. Why? Because they're lining their pockets with our money. $21 billion Amazon made in the last quarter. And we know they're gonna make billions more. We know Black Friday's coming up. We know Cyber Monday's coming up. And what we need is we need specific things put in place to protect the workers and the communities. So what we need is the speaker to call a hearing, and we need to pass the Delivery Protection Act now.
Yes.
What do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Next, we have Vincent Perrone, International Trustee of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters.
Thank you all for being here. Delivery Protection Act. It's about protecting the people in the warehouses. It's about protecting the people doing the deliveries. It's about protecting the people walking on the streets of this great city. It's about safety for workers and for everyone on the street. When these drivers, who a lot of them for Amazon are my members now, but Amazon still refuses to come to terms with the contract, when they're out making deliveries where my kids and your kids are playing, I don't want them rushing. I don't want the driver to be in a van with brakes that are broken, mirrors that are broken. We walk the picket line. All these delivery vehicles are brand new, but they're already being held together with duct tape and chicken wire. I don't want the drivers or any warehouse workers to be afraid to file a complaint because their boss is going to fire them. And that's what happens, because Brad gave a lot of great numbers, but there's a lot of people that are afraid to lose their jobs as far as retaliation goes. These are safety hazards that Amazon and other companies are putting on the streets of New York every single day. We know everybody wants their packages in 1 minute. You're probably checking your apps now. But these are the streets that our kids are playing in, right? Where these drivers, these gig drivers that have no rights, that are being rushed, are parking on the wrong side of the street, leaving the doors open as they deliver to our neighborhoods. Amazon drivers have told me that if they report a van with a safety problem, they get sent home without pay. We need a union contract to fix that.
That's right.
If they take time to do their job safely, God forbid go to the bathroom, Amazon's calling them on their little apps. Why are you behind? Can't you move faster? We've all seen it in person. It does not have to be this way. I was a UPS Teamster driver for 25 years. As a union member, we have rights to drive safe vehicles. We have a right to report safety hazards without fear of retaliation that every person working in this city should have. And not to mention, our members are paid a fair wage, right? And these guys and girls deserve that same fair wage. Right. Amazon Teamsters are organizing for what they deserve, and UPS Teamsters and all Teamsters are standing right beside them, and we are not going away. Right. I thank Comptroller Lander for doing the research and showing the safety crisis that Amazon's creating in New York City. The next step is clear. The City Council needs to pass the Delivery Protection Act for everybody that lives in New York City. Speaker Adams, we need a hearing and a vote on this bill. That's right. Safety cannot wait for people in this city. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Right. And as you can see,
all right, I'm thrilled to welcome up to the stage, to the podium, I should say, Elizabeth Adams from Transportation Alternatives.
Right, Elizabeth.
Good morning.
morning.
Yesterday was World Day of Remembrance in New York City and across the country, where we honor people who have been killed and have lost their lives to traffic crashes. In New York City, 250 people lose their lives every year to traffic crashes, something that is entirely preventable. And so that's why I want to thank the Comptroller for this report that centers street safety and climate impact and shines a light on the lack of regulation for a system that is so desperately needed. As people have noted, the rise in e-commerce in the last recent years, particularly during the pandemic, has led to a recognition that the e-commerce delivery, same-day Amazon companies need to be regulated. We have more trucks on our streets than ever before, same-day delivery, and yet we were woefully behind when it comes to updating our streetscape and workplace protections to make it work for everyone. And it's impacting our safety. As the Comptroller's report found, 78% of areas nearby last mile facilities have seen more crashes and more injuries. For so many New Yorkers, our streets are workplaces, and it is time that we treat it as such. That's right. Which means workplace protections for everyone. That's right. It's time for change. Because our city's freight transport is primarily carried out by truck, e-commerce companies are continuing to build these last mile warehouses. We are proud to stand with the Last Mile Coalition in calling for safer neighborhoods, safer protection, safer infrastructure that also keeps our communities safe. There's a few things I also want to call out in the report that we're proud to see around the recommendations. First, we need to address the safety of our companies whose workplace practices are causing such unsafe conditions on our streets, as folks have said, and pass a Delivery Protection Act. We also need to expand cargo bike delivery to move freight off of truck delivery on our streets and move us towards more sustainable, safer modes of freight delivery in our city. We also need to increase and expand the number of neighborhood loading zones throughout our city for improved street design and coordination. And lastly, it is time for us to create a real regulatory entity to oversee the regulation of our delivery system. We need a Department of Sustainable Delivery. These companies are unregulated, are uncontrolled, are doing whatever they want on our streets, and it is unacceptable. It is time that they are being held accountable. It is time that the companies that are causing unsafe streets, that are causing harm to workers, and that are putting pedestrians and children and families at risk are held to account. Thank you all. I'm proud to be here.
Before I welcome our next speaker, I just want to shout out some of the other groups who are here. If we can give them all a nice warm welcome. Uprose is in the house.
Yeah.
You got El Puente. Thank you for coming. The Newton Creek Alliance.
Yeah.
Earth Justice.
Yeah.
The Point. I see the National Employment Law Project. And if I forgot anyone else, you'll let me know. Without further ado, I'd like to call up Ms. Janella Hines, Secretary Treasurer of the New York City Central Labor Council.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Janella Hines, and I am the Secretary Treasurer of the New York City Central Labor Council, the largest regional labor federation in the country, representing about 300 unions and over 1 million members.
Right.
Thank you, Comptroller Lander, and thank you to your team for bringing forward this important report. The rapid growth of last mile delivery has reshaped work in the city, but the rules meant to protect people and communities have not kept up. When that happens, workers end up carrying the risk. Inside these facilities and on the streets, too many delivery and warehouse workers face unstable jobs, low pay, and unsafe conditions created by a subcontracting structure that pushes responsibility down the line. These are the workers lifting heavy loads, navigating intense production pressures, and absorbing the consequences when employers cut corners. Their safety and stability should never be treated as an afterthought. That's why Intro 1396 matters. This legislation finally puts clear responsibility on last mile operators. It requires them to obtain a license, meet basic standards, and take ownership of the workplace conditions and delivery practices that start in their facilities. It strengthens employment protections by requiring direct employment for core work, advance notice before termination, anti-retaliation safeguards, and training that keeps workers safe and prepared for long careers. New Yorkers all over the city rely on this industry every day, yet the communities that host these facilities often bear the greatest burdens, from traffic to pollution to crashes. A system that works for the public has to work for the people doing the jobs, like these fierce Teamsters right here today. Intro 1396 brings transparency and accountability to an industry that urgently needs both. The New York City Labor Movement urges the City Council to pass this bill and to give workers, neighborhoods, and the entire city a safer and more stable delivery system. We are proud to stand with our siblings in the Teamsters and this entire coalition today. Thank you.
Yeah. What do we want?
Delivery Protection
What do we want?
Delivery Protection
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
Before I introduce our last speaker, I just want to shout out one more time my colleague Matan Diner, who did a lot of the worker safety analysis. Yeah, Matan. And as some of you know, the Employer Violations Dashboard, and he builds that as well. We're going to finish strong with our last speaker, who knows quite a lot about this topic. I'd like to welcome Luc Albert Rene, Teamsters 804 member, Amazon driver at DBK4 in Maspeth.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm glad to be here today. My name is Luc Albert Rene, and I'm from Jamaica, Queens. I've been an Amazon delivery driver for 3 years now. Amazon keep claiming one thing: safety is their main priority. And yet, me and my other coworkers over here, we know it's a lie. Every single day, some drivers are driving vans with all the dash lights on, broken mirrors, vans not even clean. They don't even take the time to clean the van. We're driving in a dust event, and yet safety is the main priority. We're rushing every single day. Some packages over 45 pounds that's set on a team lift. And yet every single day we have a specific time to load our van. Starting from here, 20 minutes. And you have people throwing out 45-pound boxes on you. And yet safety is the main priority. 2 years ago, I was injured while I was delivering a package, and it was raining that day, and I fell on my knees. I called my dispatchers, and I was like, hey, I'm injured. They said, oh, okay, can you continue? That was the first question, can you continue? And over here in Amazon, you have two possibilities. Either you continue, or either you go home, taking care of yourself without insurance and not getting paid. Anybody who have a family won't be able to survive like this. And yet safety is the main priority. And that's why we are here today, not for only drivers, for people outside. Yet there's a lot of accident going on, drivers rushing. Even some customer might wonder, how can you park there? Not even knowing like, hey, I gotta drop that package and go. Some customers questioning why you didn't ring my doorbell. Amazon gave me that option to put a note. And yet, the driver had to drop it and go. And it's not cool. It's not fair. I'm a customer as well, and I can understand. Some people even lose their packages wondering like how he didn't deliver the package to my address. I understand. Even the apps itself, they didn't even make it properly. And yet, we are here today to ask the city council to pass that bill. And that bill is for me and you guys, because together we win.
That's right.
Together we win. Together
we win.
What do we want?
Delivery Protection
What
Act.
do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you guys for having me today.
Thank you. Give it up one more time for Luke and all our speakers. What do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
What do we want?
Delivery Protection
What
Act.
do we want?
Delivery Protection Act.
All right. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to take them.
All right. Powerhouse.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'll say two things. First, on the Delivery Protection Act itself, having the workers who are doing the deliveries a part of and directly employed by and therefore accountable to the company that has the last mile facility, they'll have responsibility, and therefore they'll make sure that the routes are chosen safely, that they're not rushing the deliveries in ways that cause people to have to, to hustle so fast to the next place that they're putting themselves and others at risk, because right now Amazon or whoever is operating the last mile facility has no liability. That's the whole point, or a big part of the point, of their outsourcing to DSPs. So by bringing that liability to Amazon or to the last mile delivery operators, that'll be one key element of better street safety. The report includes other recommendations as well for improving street safety, having the Department of Sustainable Delivery, using other safer, neighborhood loading zones, cargo bikes, and attending to how we achieve delivery in ways that are safer.
Could I add to that? I mean, the Delivery Act itself also, it mandates safety regulations, right? It mandates defensive driver courses for drivers. It prohibits and creates, discipline for retaliation. It adds some just cause protections in there, and it makes it much, much safer for employees to be able to report issues with their equipment, to be able to take care of injuries, because right now, a million things could go wrong, from injury to death, and Amazon gets to say, wasn't me, I can't be held legally or fiscally responsible. And so this is a way to hold them accountable in the ways that matter, and if they don't live up to that, then we have a leg to stand on and say, well, then you don't have a right to do business here.
And then with the recommendation about a Department of Sustainable Delivery, I know this has been like a whole back and forth. It is now a part of the DOT, and it's not what it seems like the way that you're all advocating for here. I don't know if you can sort of clarify, like, do you want to see a separate agency? Do you want to see it as it is now as part of the DOT?
I mean, I think that's very likely to have to be renegotiated in the next administration. So there, we are asking for a hearing on the Delivery Protection Act to get that moving, preferably to get it passed before the end of the term, for actually standing up a Department of Sustainable Delivery that can, and let's not forget, the way that the Adams administration proposed it doesn't actually really address last mile facilities, right? What they proposed was a bill to address a different set of important problems for restaurant delivery. But what's needed is something that can take a broader look and strategically coordinate all of what is going on, so it can confront the challenges of last mile, in and out, so that it can tend to what's going on for restaurant delivery workers. And obviously that's a field that is going to keep evolving, right? We've got the Waymo pilot. So what is needed is not yet what's in evidence. So I guess what I would say is, on the Delivery Protection Act, let's hear it and pass it as written.
That's right.
On getting a coordinating entity, let's have let's have the Mamdani administration sit down with partners like the ones behind us, with the stakeholders in the field, and develop a genuinely safe, sustainable approach that attends to job quality, that attends to street safety, that attends to environmental justice issues, so that they can all work together.
Have you spoken with him about this at all? Like, is this something that he wants to do?
Yeah, well, you'll have to ask the mayor-elect about specifically how he intends to approach the issue. What we've got is a great coalition of stakeholders eager to be allies with him in getting it done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.